Hello and welcome to today's video from Peakboard. Today I want to show you how you can create such a Kanban board for your production or logistics. How this works, I will show you now. So we start here on the main view of the Peakboard Designer by adding some random data. So for that I just click here on Add List and I will call that one Open for the Open To-Dos. For that I've just created some example data here on GPT and I will just copy them into my Peakboard Designer. Let's do this also for two other lists. So this one we will call In Work. And one more for the done tasks. So let's call that done and take the last table from ChatGPT. The next thing I will do is just making these lists visible by dragging them onto the canvas. I select here this styled list, which will allow me to create a template for each of these lists. So the first thing here will be that I increase the width a bit and then I double click here on the list to be able to change the template. Here I also increase the height a little bit and will remove here the background. So I set it to transparent and add a rectangle to get this nice corners here. Bring that here to the back and place the title to the top. And I change the font here to header 2 and also decrease the size here a bit. Then of course I also add the description for this to do. I place that here underneath the title, set the font to default in that case, and the text is selected by the column description. Also I will center this one and click on OK. Let's go once back and decrease the size here a bit as well. So I set that here to 20. So now we have enough space to show everything. Let's also add a title for that. In that case, I just write here open. So these are the open tasks and I will just copy that by 2 times to show also the in work and the done tasks. So let's copy it once again. Change the title here on the top. So call this one in work and this one, no, that was the wrong position. This one I changed to closed, and by dragging the lists onto these elements I directly connect it to the correct list then. Now I make them draggable by setting this property here to with other styled lists, and here in the group key I can define which other styled lists are compatible with this one and which allows us to drag cards from each to another. Now let's jump into the preview to check out if this part is already working. Yeah, looks pretty fine. One more thing to do is to open all these lists and check the checkbox store variable on Peakboard box. So that means that the changes are saved on the Peakboard box also after a restart of that. Now I also want to add the possibility to add new cards. So for that I first start by adding some variables. The first one I call new name for the name of the new card. The second one will be called new desk for new description of a new card, and I also add one other variable which I call show dialog, and I set here the data type to Boolean, so it can be true or false, and this later will define if the dialog for adding a new card will be shown or not. Let's proceed by creating this dialog. So first of all, I will create some rectangle. I just put over the whole screen. Here I change the corner radius to 0 and set the background to black and make it transparent. So that will just blur out the background when the dialog is shown. Let's add another rectangle, and we can just place this somewhere like this. And I will put it into the mid and give it a border, white one. And now I just proceed by adding this title. So this one I just call add card, and the font here will be header 1 to make it big. And now I will add another small title here for a text box I will add in a second, and this one I just call name. Here I set the font to header 2. And now I drag the new name variable from the left to the right to create some kind of a text box, which will later allow me to change the value of the variable directly inside of this text box. And let's just add one more for the description. For that I just copy the title again and change the name here to description, and I also drag the description variable from the left to the right to create such a text box here. In that case I increase the size a bit, and also I define to start the text on the top and I make it multi-line. Now, as last thing, I will add here a button where you can then click on OK when you're done for creating a new card. So now just let's go over all these elements here on the left, and I group them by pressing Ctrl G or just clicking here with the right mouse button, and here you can also just group them. And now the dialog is basically done. Okay, now we can select here the group on the left side and click here on conditional formatting. And here I will create a rule which tells that if the show dialog property is set to true, then the visibility of the group should also go to true. So then I want to show this dialog. And now let me jump into the script of the button by just double clicking it, and then I can create here the logic behind. For that I select here on the right hand list manipulation. I add a new row at the end of the open cards, so when I create a new card it should go to the open cards. And here I just select the variable new description which we connected to the text box, and for the name we select the new name. And also we want to set this variable show dialog to false, because then we want the dialog to disappear when clicking on OK. Now let's select the group again and set the visibility to hidden. We forgot to add this rectangle for the blur, but we can just do that. So by default the dialog should be hidden. Now let's add the possibility to open this dialog. For that I put an icon on the bottom right here, and here I just click on select icon, where I just select the icon I want to show. In that case I want to have some kind of a plus icon to create a new card. Now the last thing we need to do is click here on tapped event to create an event when clicking on this plus icon. For that we just set the variable show dialog to true, which we connected then with the conditional formatting earlier. And when I do so, we will show the dialog when clicking here. When I click now on save and close, everything is done and the Kanban board for your production is finished. Thanks for watching.